This is Dolan TV, and guys, today another edition because I know I've already put up the coming to terms with being out of the playoffs and what should Oilers fans be thinking. I was saying the heads held high. Now the thing is, there is one giant massive piece of news that I was leaving out of that video specifically so I could talk about it in today's extra video based on what happened last night post game when, in my opinion, I'm journalism trained, yes. Have I worked in media? Kind of. Have I had the chance to interview players and coaches after a tough loss? Yes. So, let's go kind of roundabout this in a little bit of a way. Connor McDavid gets, obviously, the ambush by the reporters at the end of the game talking about being eliminated. Connor McDavid's first thing when he gets asked, when did you find out about being eliminated officially, he says right now. Now, I mean, technically under Ken Hitchcock's comments from the same night and earlier this morning kind of deal that I heard on CBC, they were already playing as if they were eliminated a week and a half ago. So to sit there and, yeah, I just found out. Well, the mentality's there, yes, I just found out. But what do you do? What do you do? Right? Like, you can't sit there and say, oh, gee, thanks. Like, no, duh. Because that's just not a captain-like thing to do. So Connor McDavid, in that little presser, it's a scrum. That's the word. It's a tough challenge to be in. And I can't, being 22 myself, having been on the opposite side of that at 2021, I can't sit there and imagine, holy crap, trying to answer those kind of questions. Especially, I've done it in Junior B and Junior A, okay? That's my level of expertise. I've also done it with WJAC, the World Junior A Challenge, with guys like Cale Makar and those kind of talent, Ian Mitchell and those kind of guys. But here's the thing. You go and sit there and talk about it. Well, my goodness, as somebody at 2021 who can't imagine being on that end of things, asking the questions, I'm hurting. Now, being a professional journalist who's done it for 40 plus years, ambushing the captain of the Edmonton Oilers who's only 22 with the news that you've been eliminated and asking for a gut reaction. That's what I'm getting at. I took the roundabout way of getting there, but essentially what I'm saying is I don't like how the media that interviewed Connor McDavid post-game last night took the ambush approach to try and get the gut reaction. Connor McDavid, I mean, a lot's been made since of how he responded to the questions. He was doing his best not to say something that was going to be taken out of context. And we have the comment, right? Maybe this group gelling towards the end means something for next year, but probably not. That's the way it came across and almost was worded, right? From Connor McDavid. That's one tidbit of the interview, and I think that's a very insignificant part when you consider how the media approached the interview with Connor McDavid as a whole. Am I calling them out? No, that's their job. That's, seriously, if I was in that role, 40 plus, 30 plus, 20 plus, 5 plus, 1 year on the job, that's what you got to do. That's what the fans want to see. I'm not kidding myself there. What I'm saying is I don't like it because I know, just being at the Junior B, Junior A level, what it's like for those guys who are just playing for the fun of it. Junior B, Junior A do not get paid. Junior A, 3/4 of them get scholarships. The other quarter may be playing Junior B and then going to college the next year on a trade scholarship. That's essentially all those guys get. Well, yeah, look, Cale Makar, obviously a very big exception to that, like I mentioned. But you sit there. And you sit there, and from my perspective, I've done that with Junior B and Junior A guys, and it is gut-wrenching to do, and it's hard to see. Because at the end of the day, Connor McDavid is no different than any other 22-year-old hockey player out there when it comes to realizing the season is over. You play hockey to win. You play hockey to get the trophy, obviously. You play professional hockey to make the Stanley Cup playoffs, to advance through round by round, to make the Cup final to try and win the Stanley Cup. And to sit there and be, like I said, ambushed, to be attacked on the point of being eliminated and trying to figure out what's next for this team, it's tough. I absolutely feel for Connor McDavid in that position. Media's doing its job. He's got to do his as the captain, and he walked a very fine line, and one I think that had he said anything and fallen for the ambush tactics, it could have been a lot uglier today than what I think what got played up. You know what I mean? So let's go review a couple other quotes according to the Edmonton Journal from that press conference. Obviously, the frustration level, it's really, really high. That's the line that he gave. Well, yeah, no doubt it's really high. And just trying to hyper-localize, hyper-focus that the frustration level is only high on Connor McDavid, that is an absolute idiotic point. That's one, if you're taking that and you've thrown that in my comments section already before getting to this point of the video, I really feel bad for you, because professional hockey, as Bob Nicholson tried to make it a one-man show on Tobias Reeder, is not. If everybody in that group is not feeling some kind of frustration, I don't know if they are even professionals. I don't even know if they're even human. That's the thing. I don't care if you're Milan Lucic and you're sitting there comfortable that you made $6 million this year for doing diddly nothing, in my opinion. You've still got to be frustrated that your team didn't do anything, right? Because at the end of the day, if your team doesn't do anything, your paycheck ain't going to look as good next time you go to get a contract if it's with the same team, because the owner ain't going to pay anything and you might not, right? So as comfortable as you may be collecting a paycheck today, tomorrow it might not be if you are not frustrated going forward to try and fix this. So I don't know if that point made sense, but I understand what I'm trying to get at. I hope you do as well. So that's my take on that. Now, the other side is Connor McDavid. Like I said, it was an ambush tactics trying to get any grain of anger, like overboiled frustration out of Connor McDavid. It's been an insane season. Coaching change, GM change, good times and bad times. It's been a roller coaster. It's been emotionally challenging. It's been hard mentally to keep going on, but we were always kind of there. And that's the big point. See how he walked away from the edge slowly but slowly in those sentences and then said we were always right there. That is no fault of the Oilers, no fault or no benefit, no fault of the Oilers, because did they play good enough hockey to be right there? No. Did they play bad enough hockey to be a terrible team? No. No, they aren't the LA Kings. They aren't the Ottawa Senators, obviously. But the thing is, the Western Conference was weak, which kept them right there. So, yes, we all kind of got diluted, convoluted ideas of what could be, what can't be kind of deal. But you got to sit there and remember, these are professional hockey players who honestly get paid to not say die until die has been said for them. And they're there all year getting it done, but they find themselves in this precarious situation. They're not good enough to be there, and yet they're there. But the audience, the Fairweather base, right? The Fairweather media, the Fairweather everything, outside of Edmonton, outside of the guys who discuss it every day at work, the women, everybody, the fans who live and breathe this team, everybody's like, man, like they got Connor McDavid, why can't they step it up? They're only 5 points out of the playoffs. Come on now. Well, you know, if you've done it as well as we have here on Dolany TV for the past 6 months, we kind of understand why. We do. But for Fairweather fans, and that's what the media is trying to play up, right? Is the media is trying to play to the broad audience, and that's where the real fans understand what Connor McDavid's doing here. And yes, we can sit here and face value it as well. And I'm not going to kid myself. Real fans will face value things occasionally or most of the time too. It depends how in depth and how you want to approach the situation. That's why I gave you the long-winded spiel about me doing the Junior B stuff and why I can feel the way Connor McDavid did this interview was the way he did it. So then you have Connor McDavid being asked about the new GM and what's going on in the next season. He pretty much says no comment, right? We don't have a GM, so I don't think we're in any position to comment on next season. Why would you? You got 3 games left. We have a crap ton to figure out, and I hope we can put the right man in the spot and we can put together a good team. Right there. That is my next point and my final point. Moving forward, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you hire a general manager who his first thing says, all right, you hire me, the first man I want in my office is Connor McDavid to to tell me what he needs, and I'm going to figure out how to do it for him. That's what the new general manager has to do. Connor McDavid, going forward, if you want to keep him, if you want to have a chance to succeed, you need to have him involved on a player level, on a management level. Whether it be going and asking him who to bring in, who to ship out, that kind of deal. He's the captain. If he was a non-lettered player and your superstar and whatever, that's not when you'd ask him. But as your captain, your heart and soul, your seller of the franchise, I have no reason to believe the Oilers should not involve Connor McDavid going forward from the end of the season into the draft lottery, into the general manager being named, the draft, and everything going from there. Because if you have Connor McDavid saying, no, I don't want to have to teach a young kid how to play hockey. I want somebody established to play on Nuge's wing so as me, Zach, and Dry can keep together and keep our thing going into next year, and we can have an established second line attack with third line depth and a fourth line that gets the job done. And obviously then you have to ask him what the defensive plan is, but he's not the guy to ask. You got to go sit down with your D-core before the draft lottery. That's essentially before the draft lottery. So between the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, you got to sit down with your D-core and decide. Now that's hard to ask because we don't have a general manager, but even Connor McDavid would have to have that hard discussion himself with his guys to understand what the new general manager is going to have to do to figure out where the Oilers are going into the next season. So guys, what do you make of it? Well, I make of it it's a kid being interviewed in ambush tactics. That's my thing. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I hate it. It's the media doing their job and Connor McDavid being captain. That's essentially what it is. So guys, I'm Tyson. This is Stolony TV. Hopefully the roundabout explanation makes sense. Anyway, I am up on out of here.